Good afternoon, and I know it's afternoon because I looked at the clock and it says 12:07, and I should be in bed by now. But I promised you another Musings. Well, I promised you the first Musings, and so here we go. Today, when I was on my break at work, I read an interesting piece of news on Joe Blow. Apparently there is a sequel to a movie that is now in pre-production that they've started casting, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. Now, don't get me wrong, sequels are fine, I guess. Some sequels are obviously better than others. Case in point, the Nightmare on Elm Street series. Nightmare on Elm Street 2 sucked hard. It was terrible. And some people will think, oh yeah, it was okay. No, it really wasn't. If you compare it to the first Nightmare on Elm Street, no, it wasn't. In fact, in my personal opinion, the only sequel that was any good out of that series was Wes Craven's New Nightmare. But I digress. Some sequels are good. Batman Returns. I really enjoyed that sequel. It took the Batman story and made it a lot darker and grimmer, and overall it was a lot better. Some sequels are good, some sequels are not. Some movies should not have a sequel made to them. For instance, well, this movie I read about. What I read was they are making a sequel to this movie, Hot Tub Time Machine. Hot Tub Time Machine. This movie came out in 2010, and it was great. It was a really, really good movie. It was kind of well, it wasn't a great movie, but it was fun. It was a funny movie. It was just overall, it was fun. It pokes fun at the 80s. And for those of you who don't know this movie, 3 friends and one of the characters' nephew go to a ski resort to relive the good old days of 1986. Well, they get drunk in a hot tub, and boom, they end up in 1986. Ridiculous premise. Clark Duke's character, the nephew, says, "Do I have to be the asshole that says this? That we got in a hot tub and it was a time machine? Really?" But anyway, I digress. What I read was they are making a sequel to this. Why are they making a sequel to Hot Tub Time Machine? If you've seen the movie, everything is wrapped up at the end. You don't need a sequel to it. Honestly, time travel movies, unless you're Back to the Future, you don't need a sequel to it. And the only reason I say that is because Back to the Future 2 was actually good. I actually enjoyed it. And the end of Back to the Future 1, they set it up for a sequel. This movie, they don't set up for a sequel. What's the point in it? Everything is wrapped up. Everything is happy-go-lucky, happily ever after, whatever. Why do you need a sequel? Tell me this. Answer me this. Why do you need a sequel to this movie? Well, apparently they're making a sequel to it. And from what I've read about it, which is not much. I mean, there's only like really one article online for this. Rob Corddry, Craig Robinson, and Clark Duke are the only people that are coming back to this movie. Well, with the exception of Chevy Chase. But the funniest part of this movie, John Cusack, he's not even coming back. What's the point? He was the funniest part of that whole movie. And I'm a little biased because I do like John Cusack. Sorry. A sequel to Hot Tub Time Machine? Really? From what I read, Rob Corddry lets he has said that the idea for the movie is they're gonna go into the future. 10 years into the future. The last movie they went, what was that? Probably 24 years into the past. So they're going to go 10 years into the future. Are we seeing a parallel here to the Back to the Future? Are they going to turn Hot Tub Time Machine into a trilogy? Why? Why would they do this? Some movies do not need sequels. You would not make a sequel to Backdraft. You would not make a sequel to Titanic. Why make a sequel to Hot Tub Time Machine? Don't get me wrong, I love this movie. It's hilarious, it's great. It's one of my go-to movies. But you don't need a sequel to it. Why? Why? Why are they making a sequel to this movie? Don't get me wrong, I will probably give it a rent whenever it comes out, but I'm really not looking, my hopes aren't very high for this movie. And I hope that I'm wrong. I'm hoping that they can recapture the magic of the first one. But I really don't see that happening. So, why? Why? Oh well, it is what it is. That's my daily musings. And if you take anything from this, future film directors, be careful about what you make a sequel to. Make sure it's justified. Make sure there's a reason for it. But most of all, make sure it's good. I'm Michael. Until next time, I'm out.